Chapter 3. To talk or not to talk? After our fun movie night, she insisted on me staying over, claiming it was a late night. I knew she wanted me to stay over to make sure I was alright after that phone call from Aaron. Aaron, what a lovely name. Thanks to Rian sleeping his name in our conversation earlier, I could finally know what his real name was. But I still wondered why he was saved as B on my phone. Oh gosh, did I used to call him baby? Throughout the night, I contemplated if I should talk to Aaron or not. As a solution to my dilemma, I decided to do the classic social media stalk instead, though I had no memory of what he looked like. I looked him up on every social media, but he seemed to not exist in any of those. I tried different variants of his name as well. It was not like there were not several Aarons on social media. There were, in fact, quite a many, but none of those Aaron felt familiar. And there were not any mutual friends either. And most importantly, none of those Aarons were celebrating a birthday that day. It might sound stupid, but I felt like I would know him if I saw his face. His voice felt familiar to me. I almost asked Rian about his socials, but I knew that she would be against me looking him up on the internet. I understood what she meant, but there was this nagging feeling of wanting to hear his voice again, wanting to know more about what went down. I was getting curious, but there was no answer. With the limited information, I couldn't find him on the internet at all. I mean, what was I even thinking? I didn't even know his full name. There was also a possibility that he had blocked me off the social media. How childish. Or what if I had blocked him? I didn't know my past self anymore, that I might have blocked him instead. So, I checked my block list, and there was no one on my block list sharing his name. Then I decided to make a fake account to look him up. I still couldn't find any faces that felt familiar. Maybe one of them could have been Aaron, but I just couldn't recognize him. I was tempted to call him again, but I realized it would do us no good to call and talk to each other. We had broken up already, and I couldn't ask him to revisit those memories with me. The next day, I woke up to a nice and warm morning at Rian's place. After I got out of the shower, I started preparing breakfast for us. Ri woke up a little while later, thanked me for the breakfast, and went straight to the coffee maker. Then I finally gave up and asked Rian to give me his socials. I just wanted to put a face to the voice, so I told her about my last night's effort and asked her to just show me his face or give me socials. To my surprise, she seemed to be suppressing her smile, and then she said, "I would have saved you all the trouble of searching him on socials." "You mean you would have given me the details?" I asked, not believing what she just said. "No, of course not. I still think seeking him is not a good idea. For him and you. It could have saved you trouble because he's not on any social media. I don't know why. He used to have them, but it seems he has sworn off the social media." "How do you know?" I asked with skepticism not failing in my voice. For all I know, she might just be saying that to prevent me from looking for him. "You blurted it out once. You had never mentioned his name before that since your breakup. You suddenly decided to look him up on Instagram, and when you didn't find him, you looked him up on every social media available. Then I think you also created a fake account to look up, but he was nowhere, and then you said, he's not even on LinkedIn. As if that's the account one must have." "It is." Rian shook her head and said, "That's what you said then as well. I was about to ask you more about it that night, but..." She paused, and with strain on her voice he added, "Later you had to be rushed to the hospital." We both didn't speak for a while, both not wanting to reminisce that night. I had noticed earlier that she was glancing at her phone occasionally, So to deviate our topic of discussion and to diffuse my curiosity over her love life, I had to ask, "Are you waiting for Sarah to respond?" She smiled sheepishly and said, "Yes." We had been talking over Snapchat almost every day, so I thought it was high time I asked her out. "Finally, yes! So where are you guys going?" I said excitedly. I was glad that my best friend was finally doing something about her crush on Sarah. "I'm planning to take her out on dinner, then hang out by the bar in the city later." "Sounds good." Has she replied yet? She hasn't. She had a late night shift, so probably she's still sleeping. Rian met Sarah when I was in hospital. Sarah was the nurse on the floor that I was admitted to. As Rian was visiting me frequently, she used to ask all sorts of questions to Sarah, and Sarah would happily provide them. Later, they became good friends even after I got discharged. I knew that Rian had crushed on her the very first time Sarah came to check on me on her navy blue nurse scrub. She was in awe for sure. She couldn't stop talking about how amazing Sarah was and how great she was at her job. She would have probably asked her out then and there, but the circumstances didn't allow. After finishing my breakfast, I kissed her on the cheek and wished her good luck for the date, and I left. While entering my apartment, I saw that there were missed calls from him. He must have called me when I was driving. I didn't call him back, mostly because I didn't know what to say. I was clouded with a dilemma, if I should call him back or if I should heed Ree's advice of letting the past be in past. I did realize that he ought to know that I didn't remember him, so that he could move on from the call I made yesterday. I wished I could tell him the truth, but I also feared the unknown. What if the hidden memories are better the way they are, well hid deep inside my brain? I felt guilty for not calling him back. Should I check my old hard drive? A thought arrived in my head as I could not let Aaron go from my mind. My therapist had advised against it because he wanted me to take it slow. He didn't want me to be overwhelmed with information. I guess he was right, because my head had started to throb quite a lot. I shut down my computer and went to bed to close my eyes so that my head would stop hurting.